Hello and welcome. My name is Georg Hinkel, and in this short video, I'm going to demonstrate you how to use the dynamic client that the Tecan SiLA 2 SDK provides. So for this, I already started a server that again has only the very default greeting service. So just one command with a single with the name say hello. So you can take a look at the feature description. So one command called say hello, and it's called the greeting service. And for this, I already added the NuGet package because everything is NuGet package as you might have grabbed by now. And it's basically the dynamic client package that we need. And for this, how to use that is, okay, we need to know which feature we are talking about. So the feature is the server.features. As the first or default feature that has the identifier set to greeting service. And we'll be interested in the command feature.items type feature command. First, so default, yeah, first, okay. And now what we basically do is we first need to do a feature context. There's a new feature context. For this feature with this server, with this execution manager. This basically means, okay, what do you do in the context of this feature, basically? To resolve data types, because yeah, of course, in a feature you can provide some data types just as a reference to other custom data types that are defined in the feature, and therefore we need a bit of context. Next is we create a command client. And that is a new non-observable command client for this command and this context. So here we actually know that this is a non-observable command client. The command client for an observable command is a bit different, but I mean, you can actually query whether a command is observable or not by just investigating this object here. And then we create a request, and that is just command client dot create request, and then we fill this request. So request dot value is, and here you may think that we just put in the name that we're interested in, but the command might have multiple parameters, and therefore we need to pack this into a dynamic object. And put in a element, which is a dynamic object property for the commands parameter. And the value of this is dynamic client. Okay, so we just created a request. Now we still need to actually execute the request, and for that, we just do console white line of the response. So first save the response, and that is a command client dot invoke. There's also an asynchronous invoke, but here we use the blocking one. Namely the request. You can put additional metadata if you wanted to, but we don't use that at the moment. We just execute the request as is. And then we do a console dot write line of the response. So what is the response, by the way? The response is also a dynamic object property. So this has a value. This value is going to be also a dynamic object because the command might have multiple responses. However, so you can actually also investigate the elements and then look for the actual result that you wanted to. However, the red line will also work. So if we execute this thing, Then we have 5 seconds delay to query for the server. And then we have say hello is, well, the return value is hello dynamic client. Okay. So this also works with exceptions. So if we just do dynamic client 2 and execute this again, then we get an exception and defined error exception. So the exception that's happening is actually one that is defined in the SiLA 2 feature that is underlying. Yeah, exception is found as names are suspicious. Exception of type unfriendly name exception was found. That basically means that, well, I didn't provide any message, therefore it's using this one. Otherwise, you would also get the message here. So this defined error exception does give you the error identifier. So here you see the fully qualified identifier of the error. Yeah, and the actual message. That comes from the server. Yeah, and this is basically how there's also a client for properties, and there's, as I said, there's a client for observable commands, and that basically can be used to query features that you don't know at compile time. Yeah, and then thanks for watching, and I hope you like this video and also one of the upcoming videos about other stuff on the Tecan SiLA 2 SDK. Thanks.